Hi, my name is Mary Jane from Hayes Sewing Machine Company in Wilmington, Delaware, and this is part of our creative video series. Today we are working on Quilt-As-You-Go pet placemats. They come in one that's for a kitty cat and
the fish
that's for a puppy dog. And today we are going to be doing the puppy dog one. The great thing about the Quilt-As-You-Go series by June Tailor is when you're done, you are done. So the back is quilted, the front is pieced, and you are ready for binding. So the first thing you need to do is cut all your pieces out. There is some cutting, it's kind of detailed for this project. Everything needs to be cut and labeled. Best way to go. The second thing you need to do is take your large piece of backing fabric and iron it to the back of this fleece. The printed side is where we are going to piece all of our fabric. The back side is where we are going to see the quilting. This is fusible, so you take your iron with your backing piece and you fuse it. When I'm using fusible fleece, this is not a quick, this is a slow, deliberate, take my time. You do need some heat onto the adhesive in order to get it to start working. So this just takes a minute, and don't be afraid to sort of slowly glide your iron over it. All right. Once I have this adhered to the back, I take a sharp pair of scissors and I am going to cut around the outline of the project. Now sometimes these lines aren't perfect, so I just get as close as I can while maintaining the shape of the project. And all of her projects, the Quilt-As-You-Go series, are similar. So you can definitely take what you have learned here today and apply them to, oh gosh, she has placemats, she has table runners, she has a series of bags, I think she has mug rugs. There's a bunch of these Quilt-As-You-Go projects. Alright, so let me get that all cut out. As you can see, I'm just sort of going around the edge. I might be leaving a little bit. And it's certainly easier to cut now because later there's going to be fabric covering everything, and then it's much harder. So make sure that you cut at the beginning of the project. Okay, so here we go. Nothing on the back, lines and fusible fleece on the front. I am using a walking foot with this because you are going to be going through a few layers, and I have lengthened my stitch to 3.0. Also, I have chosen a thread that matches my backing. If you want something that's a little more prominent, use something that's going to contrast with your backing. The way you put these together is you take your piece labeled number 1, you want it right side up, and then you are going to take your pieces, this one's labeled 2 through 5, you're going to put them right sides together, and I'm going to sew a 1/4 inch to make my seam. So I'm going to put it under the needle, I'm going to line it up, and away I go. Whoop, I'm going to put my foot down, and then I'm going to go. So I have a 1/4 inch there. When I get to the end, I'm going to cut it. I'm going to take it over to my iron, give it a nice little press. And then I'm going to do the same with number 3. So bear with me so I can show you how I'm lining this up, especially after I get this piece on. So here's the third piece. Again, right sides together, presser foot down, 1/4 inch seam. Pull it up, iron it out. So you can see a couple things. I'm not exactly against that line, and I'm not too worried about that because this stabilizer is stretchy. It will shift as you're moving along. I'm more concerned where it's sitting on the pieces of the square. So now I have 1 and 2 done. I should say 3 and 4. And now 2 and 3. Eek. And now I'm getting ready for 4. So the reason why you do 2 and 3 is because piece 4 wants to sit on top of those 2 pieces. So if you'll notice, when I line my fabric up, like so, I'm a little over on the edge here. I am on top of both the brown pieces and the center dog square. All right, let me finish this up and I'll be right back. Now I have attached all the squares that go, the triangles that go around the main square, and I'm going to put on 2 large triangles on either side. Again, I'm just lining up. Obviously, I'm a little over on the triangle's a little larger than what is now the square I'm attaching it to. That's okay. I don't mind trimming it up. And I'll iron that back. And as you can see, I am starting to see my quilting on the back, which looks really cool. Lining up again. Right, I like to see that point on either side so that lines up pretty well. Do another nice iron. These next 4 pieces are 2 different sizes. So you have to do 8, then 9 is a little longer to accommodate for the flip. So make sure that you piece it in this order, 8, 9, and then do, wait. Yeah, 8, 9, and then
you can do the edges or you can build it from the side.
Exactly. Exactly. There's 9, which is a little bit of the longer piece. When I line that up, I'm actually lining it up from this edge all the way up to where it meets this edge. Now when I iron this back, see how I have it all meeting.
That looks sharp.
Sorry, I put my arm in there. Now I'm going to do number 10. And then I'm going to do number 11. And these two don't really meet up with anybody except the orange print, so you are just attaching them. This would be a really good project for a beginner sewer, or if you're looking for something to do with a kid. Because it really is, once you get everything cut out, it is very easy to follow. All right, now I'm going to do the other side. Okay, so I have done both sides, both ends. I have pressed both ends. And now I am going to flip it over and trim so that I have the shape of the bone on my placemat. Not too worried if my edges aren't precise, because the instructions call for 2 ways of binding this. You can do a decorative stitch binding, which is kind of interesting. I actually when I did this one, I used bias tape binding because you do have a lot of curves and inside corners on this one. So the bias binding definitely worked out better. Once I finished the pet placemat, I decided before I put the binding on that I was going to put a little slicker fabric on top of it. This is something that you buy by the yard. It's a Lazy Girl product, although there are other companies that have it. And basically, you peel off the vinyl, place it on top of your completed project, and then you use the paper backing to iron it, and that actually adheres it to your project. I use this a lot on placemats. Any kind of play mat that I want to be able to wipe down. This one seemed appropriate because my dog is very sloppy. I'm sure yours are too. So simply when I'm done using it, I can wipe it down to get it clean. And this is called Lazy Girl Slicker Glossy. It's an iron-on product.